Hey everyone, this is my wrap up from our Summerween Readathon. If you're unfamiliar with that, basically there is a list of criteria of books that you are able to read within the week, and it was put on by Gabby Reads and Olivia Reads a Latte. So the first book I went ahead and started with was the recommendation that was given, and that was for Mexican Gothic. Mexican Gothic is a really bizarre horror tale. It follows a girl named Noemi. Noemi is basically trying to rescue her cousin. She is a bit unsure about what's going on with her cousin. Her cousin is this lively person, and her father received a letter from her, and it was bizarre and suspicious, and it's begging for Noemi to rescue her basically from her situation. So being the concerned cousin that she is, she goes out to High Place, which is where her cousin is living with her husband and his family, and she is in search of the truth. What's going on? Is her cousin going crazy, or is something really wrong at this house? And I thought it was a fantastic tale. So there were a lot of different things going on in this story. It harkened back to my experience with the yellow wallpaper back in AP Lit. Also, another story kind of reminded me of just like similar characters and vibe was Wuthering Heights. Both of these stories kind of have a similar vibe, character wise as well, like very stern, strict characters, and also involving hysteria. At one point, if you were a woman and you said you saw something or believed in a certain way, you would get basically labeled as hysterical, and yeah, you would be medicated. And it was interesting to see that come through in this story as well. And I really loved the mystery of it. I thought the imagery that was given was horrific and strange and memorable. And I really liked the story so much that I want an actual physical copy, because I was listening to this on Audible, and I want to have a physical copy of it because I enjoyed the story so much that I really would like to reread it. So it's very much a highly recommend. It was a 5-star on my end. I know there's like mixed reviews, but I really thought it was fantastic. I thought the characters were well done. I enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed the imagery. I loved the themes. There were some other themes that came in that reminded me of a few of my favorite movies as well, and I don't want to say what they are because it's kind of like spoilerish in a way. But yeah, I thought it was just fantastically written, and I can't wait to have a physical copy of Mexican Gothic, and I'm looking forward to more from this author. Just an amazing Gothic story, and if there's a sequel to this, if it happens, I'm not sure where they would go, but I would pick that up real fast because it was amazing. So highly recommend Mexican Gothic. Beautifully written. The second book that I listened to, this is also a listen, was The Shadows. And The Shadows is a novel by Alex North. And basically, this novel follows a boy, and he has experienced something in the past between two of his friends, and one of his friends ends up killed, and the other friend that caused the death had disappeared. And so he's coming back to this town as an adult. What's interesting though is what happened in the buildup. There's a lot of flashbacks between present and past, and the buildup of what happened between the friends and what is happening now in the present, and how the mystery is going to be solved, were all highly intriguing, and it kept me engaged and interested. And once I got started, I didn't want to finish, or I didn't want to stop. It ended up being a 4-star read for me, just because I wanted a little more of something at the end, like a little bit more of about this one character. But I really like the way the author used lucid dreaming and set up this horrific sort of world with dream journaling and lucid dreaming. And it kind of some of the story kind of reminded me of the Slender Man case, and just how cruel sometimes kids can be to each other, even if they're supposedly friends. It was definitely horrific. There were some moments that took me by surprise that I was not expecting. And when a novel can do that for me, it is going to be highly rated, just because it's not very often that I get surprised by a story, but I was very surprised, and I thought it was well written, and I'm excited to see more from this author as well. Okay, and then I had the goal of reading 3 Silhouette Shadows books. I started with The Willow File by Lori Herder. And The Willow File is about a haunted hotel, and it's alongside the beach, so I thought it was perfect for the Summerween Readathon. Basically, it's about 2 separate families and their feud that they've had over something that has happened in the past. So one family is on the wealthy side, and his ancestor basically asked the other family's ancestor to marry him, and then found out that she was sort of weak in health, even though he kind of knew that, and that's what drew her to him, because he wanted to protect her. And he decided to recant and take back his proposal, and she just couldn't believe it, because he said he loved her, and she wouldn't give him back his engagement brooch that's in the family. And so this sort of thing brewed a lot of animosity between the 2 families, because one family believed that she had killed herself over it and never given the brooch back, and the other family believed that the fiance had murdered her for the brooch. And basically that's the intro, and the 2 families collide during this whole ghost mystery, and there's a little bit of romance in here, and it wasn't too spooky, so it was kind of like a nice palate cleanser. I really enjoyed listening to it with ocean sounds, just because it was by the ocean, and it was a quick read. I finished it in one day. It was more just like a cute, quick palate cleanser sort of read. It wasn't like really horror, even though it had those supernatural elements. I thought the mystery behind the family was kind of fun, but overall, it ended up being like a 3-star read for me. It wasn't like something completely fantastic. And then I read Lover in the Shadows, which I read this for like the creepy cover requirement, basically. And you can see like there's a guy creeping in the window, and then there's a cat coming in, and a girl's just there in the kitchen, and what does she have? She doesn't have anything in her hands. So basically, it's about this woman named Molly Harris, and each night she's been waking up in her kitchen floor holding a knife, and one night it's a little bit different. She's noticing that she woke up with a bloody knife on on her kitchen floor, and she's wondering how she got there. And then there's a knock at the door, and it happens to be a detective. And he's telling her that her maid or friend that she had recently fired was murdered on her docks, and he was wondering why she was there. And basically he is looking at her for the murder, and she's kind of at a loss because she doesn't know if she's going crazy or what's going on with her, because she's waking up and in strange places. She's not remembering things. And this also has a romance element to it, and it's got a mystery to it. It's more like a mystery story than a horror story. I didn't really find it scary either, and it was just kind of like an average read for me as well. It was a quick read. I read it in one day, like 2 hours. It was a 3-star for me as well. It was a good read. I don't think it was like a favorite. It didn't feel like creative enough. And some of the elements that were thrown in there as a surprise were pretty predictable. So that's why I ended up as a 3-star. This was the one I was going to read for a supernatural element. I only got like 2 chapters in. I ran out of time, but I plan on reading it this week. It's called The Bridge Across Forever. So basically, The Bridge Across Forever is about a woman who is slighted by her fiance, and she is angry at him. So she puts a curse on his family. And I haven't got any farther than that, but I'm interested to see what happens here. Overall, I feel like I was mostly successful with the Summerween Readathon. I also happened to finish 2 other books too. I finished Midnight Sun, which I did a reaction vlog to, and I uploaded it. I finished that on Monday. And I also finished Nice Girls Don't Have Fangs by Molly Harper on Tuesday. So like, I had a lot of reading in. Nice Girls Don't Have Fangs is essentially, it kind of reminds me of the Sookie Stackhouse novels, but if Sookie had been a newly turned vampire. So it's interesting. I like the True Blood novels a lot better, but this one could grow on me. I've so far just read the first one, and I am interested in continuing the series. Let me know what you guys think about the books that I read during this readathon. I wanted to say thank you to Gabby Reads and Olivia Reads a Latte for coming up with this readathon. I think it's a lot of fun, especially when horror is my absolute favorite and Halloween is my absolute favorite. So thank you for inspiring my reading list for last week, and I'm excited to keep reading and to listen to everyone's Summerween reading vlogs and recommendations. I already saw A Clown in a Cornfield, and that one's super intriguing. And I saw Gabby Reads I haven't finished her blog, so I saw she was debating between reading Kill Creek and another book, and I read Kill Creek last summer, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So definitely, if you haven't read that one, pick it up, because I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's spooky and creepy and has all the good vibes. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.